Magical Explorer Volume 1 Review. When it comes to the isekai genre, we see a protagonist transported into just about everything from books to games and so forth. But the light novel Magical Explorer, our main character finds himself in the world of an eroge game, an erotic game for those not familiar. Does this make for an interesting story? Let's find out. Our story follows a young man who loves the eroge game Magical Explorer, and one day finds himself reincarnated into the world as the protagonist's best friend Kosuke Takeyoto. As a character, Kosuke was known for being a comic relief, destined to never get the girls but always there when the hero needed him. Our protagonist sees no reason for this to change if he's truly in the world of the video game. He just vows to train his skills and become a useful support to those around him. When the story of the games takes place in the Tsukuyomi Magic Academy, when the protagonist awakens as Kosuke, he still has a couple of months before he enrolls in the school. Before he attends the school, Kosuke moves in with the headmaster Marino Hanamura, who was taking over guardianship of Kosuke after the death of his parents. Marina also has a teenage daughter who will be attending the Magic Academy with Kosuke, and although she's not best pleased to be sharing a home with the boy she doesn't know. The two quickly become friends thanks to Kosuke's persistence. Kosuke chooses to use his time before joining the academy to train his magical abilities, since it's unlikely he get involved in any notable developments until then. Little does he know he's about to save multiple heroines and find himself in all kinds of trouble long before he reaches the main setting of the game. While Kosuke thinks he's doomed to forever be the side character, it's clear to use readers that he's taking over the role of the protagonist in this world. Kosuke ends up at the center of too many incidents not to be a protagonist, as he saves several girls from danger and ends up being romantic interest for them as the book goes on. This all sounds great as a plot summary, but unfortunately, Magical Explorer is let down by how low dull Kosuke is. Most of the book is spent with him monologuing about how the story should go based on his knowledge of the game, which would be fine if it didn't feel like info dump after an info dump. In the end, it was so tiring that I kept putting the book down because Kosuke's dialogue was so boring. The other problem is that the girls fall over Kosuke for no particular reason. This makes some sense because the setting is a eroge game, but still feels worse somehow. Naturally, this isn't helped by the number of times Kosuke happens upon one of the girls getting into the bed, or otherwise find himself touching their breast. If you're going to have this level of fan service, if you prefer it, if the relationships between the characters were better written. On top of all this, Volume 1 Magical Explorer feels like a prelude for the story to come. Kosuke doesn't get to attend the Magic Academy until the final pages of the book when he doesn't meet the original protagonist of the game until the either. It leaves this book feeling fairly unsatisfying. What it seems it never gets the opportunity to touch on the story it's setting up, and there isn't enough interest to keep the majority of readers on the hook for following books either, especially not when there is so much else on the market that fills the same genre and offers a more entertaining read. Magical Explorer Volume 1 comes to the West thanks to Yen Press and is translated by David Mosto. The translation reads what we choose to note. Illustrations for the series being handled by Noburo Kanasuki, and what you expect from the premise like this. A lot of barely clothed girls in compromising positions. The series is going in Japan on 5 volumes in Yen Press, and Volume 2 is scheduled for English release in April. Overall, Magical Explorer Volume 1 is a serviceable entry in the isekai market, but the quality writing lets it down in several places. It's difficult to recommend this one, given how underwhelming this first book ends up being, and I'm convinced that it will get better with further installments. 4/10.